Good morning, children. Today I'll be concluding my first chapter with part 6. As you all know, Early Societies is the name of the chapter. So let's begin. We are going to read something about how the early humans obtained their food, or what were the ways for early men to obtain food. Early humans would have obtained food through gathering, hunting, scavenging, and fishing. These were the four methods. What was gathering? Early humans collected plant food such as seeds, nuts, berries, fruits, and tubers. What are tubers? Tubers are roots. Secondly, scavenging. Early humans scavenged or foraged for meat of animals that had died or had killed by other predators. Small mammals such as rodents, rat, rabbit, etc. Birds, reptiles, and even insects were eaten by early humans. Hunting. This is the third method. Hunting probably began by about 5 lakh years ago. The evidence for the planned hunting comes from some sites like Box Grove in southern England, Skoningen in Germany, Dolny Westonnis in Czech Republic. Now, what was planned hunting? Sites near rivers have been chosen by them for planned hunting. Herds of migratory animals crossed the river during their spring and autumn migrations. People knew the movement of these animals and killed them. Lastly, fishing. Fishing was also important, as is evident from the discovery of fish bones at different sites. Early humans from trees to caves and open-air sites. It is possible that some places where food resources were abundant, that is, was found in a large number, were visited repeatedly, again and again. In such areas, people would tend to leave behind traces of their activities or marks of their activities and presence, including artifacts. What are artifacts? Artifacts are some objects that are made by human beings. The term can refer to a wide range of thing tools, painting, sculpture, etc. Early humans from trees to caves and open air sites. By plotting the distribution of artifacts, we can find out the place of residence of the hominids. Thousands of flake tools and hand axes have been excavated at Kilombe and Olorgesailie in Kenya. In some areas, food resources were abundant and people visited repeatedly. People would leave traces of their activities and presence, including artifacts. The deposited artifacts would accumulate in one place. The places which were less visited would have fewer artifacts. The artifacts may have been scattered over the surface. Early humans from trees to caves and open-air sites. Between 4 lakh and 1,25,000 years ago, children, caves and open-air sites began to be used. In the Lazaret cave in southern France, a 12 into 4 meter shelter was built. Inside it were 2 hearths and evidence of different food sources. At Terra Amata in southern France, flimsy shelters with roofs of wood and grass were built for short-term seasonal visits. Pieces of baked clay and burnt bone along with stone tools have been found at some sites in South Africa. We do not know these were the result of a natural bushfire or volcanic eruption or controlled use of fire. The uses of fire. What were the uses of fire for early men? To provide warmth and light inside caves, to harden the wood, to scare away dangerous animals, for cooking, and for flaking tools. Now we are on early humans, that is how they made the tools. The ways in which humans make tools require greater memory and complex organizational skills. The earliest evidence for the making and use of stone tools comes from sites in Ethiopia and Kenya. We do not know whether tool making was done by men or women or both. About 35,000 years ago, there were changes in human tool making. New kinds of tools such as spear throwers and the bow and arrow were used for killing animals. The meat thus obtained was processed by removing the bones, followed by drying, smoking, and storage. Thus, food could be stored for later consumption. Trapping of fur-bearing animals and the invention of sewing needles were other changes. The earliest evidence of sewn clothing comes from about 21,000 years ago. The punch blade technique was introduced to make small chisel-like tools. It was now possible to make engravings on bone, antler, that is branched horn deer, ivory or wood. Children, what were the modes of communication for early men? Language and art. Language. Among living beings, it is humans alone that have a language. There are several views on language development. They are: firstly, hominid language involved gestures or hand movements. Secondly, spoken language was preceded by vocal but non-verbal communication. Thirdly, human speech probably began with calls among primates. When did spoken language emerge? It has been suggested for this question that the brain of Homo habilis had certain features which would have made it possible for them to speak. Thus, language may have developed as early as 2 million years ago. The evolution of vocal tract was equally important. This occurred around 2 lakh years ago. Language developed around the same time as art, that is around 40,000 to 35,000 years ago. Now, art. Hundreds of paintings have been discovered in the caves of Lascaux and Chauvet in France and Altamira in Spain. These include depictions of lions, bears, panthers, hyenas, and owls. We have no idea why they made these paintings. One of the explanations for these paintings is ritual. The act of painting was a ritual to ensure a successful hunt. Another explanation is that these caves were meeting places for small groups of people or locations for group activities. They shared hunting techniques and knowledge here. Thus, painting served as the media for passing information from one generation to the next. Hunter-gatherer societies from the present to the past. There are 2 points of view on the following issue: whether the lives of present-day hunter-gatherers could be used to understand the past. The scholars who directly applied specific data from present-day hunter-gatherer societies to interpret the archaeological remains of the past. Some archaeologists suggest that the hominid sites dated to 2 million years ago along the margins of Lake Turkana could have been the dry season camps of early humans. Such practice has been observed among the Hadza and the Kung San. The scholars who feel that ethnographic data cannot be used for understanding past societies, they have their ideas. Present-day hunter-gatherer societies pursue several other economic activities along with hunting and gathering. This is what they say for their argument. These include engaging in exchange and trade in minor forest produce or working as paid laborers in the fields of neighboring farmers. Moreover, these societies are totally marginalized in all senses geographically, politically, and socially. The conditions in which they live are very different from those of early humans. There are tremendous variation amongst living hunter-gatherer societies. There are conflicting data on many issues such as the relative importance of hunting and gathering, group sizes, or the movement from place to place. Both men and women are contributing to the food supply. Some key words and the meanings from the chapter. Artifacts. Artifacts are the objects that are made by human beings. The term can refer to a wide range of things, tools, paintings, sculpture, and engravings. Who were the primates? Primates are a subgroup of a larger group of mammals. They include monkeys, apes, and humans. They have body hair, a relatively long gestation period following birth, mammary glands, different types of teeth, and they have the ability to maintain a constant body temperature. The word ethnography. Ethnography is the study of contemporary ethnic groups. It includes an examination of their modes of livelihood, technology, gender roles, rituals, political institutions, and social customs.